Hi, Shakira Brown, award-winning branding and business communication strategist and professional speaker. And I have a leadership message for small business owners, those who are struggling to figure out what their next move is now that they're not able to stay open. What I'm finding in my own conversations with business owners that I'm advising through my relationship with a small business development center here in New Jersey is that small businesses have been living on the edge of poverty for quite some time. What I mean by that is they've been operating without profits, pulling money out of their own accounts to keep their businesses open for whatever reason. And now they're finding they can't stay afloat. My mother would have been 70 years old this week. And one of the things that she used to say to me and my sister was that it was later than we thought. She used to always say, it's later than you think. And I hated it because I really didn't understand what it meant when I was young. But as I got older, I realized what it meant. And I started saying it to my own son. Later than you think is exactly what small businesses need to hear. It is now time to make some of those tough decisions that are required to be able to figure out how to move forward in a pandemic or post-pandemic world. It might be time for you to decide that this business is not viable and that maybe you're not providing a service or product that someone needs. It might be time for you to figure out how to let go some of your employees so you can stay afloat. These are tough leadership decisions, but they are necessary in times like these because it is later than you think. What are some of the things that you can do? Well, first, you can take a look at your financials for the last 18 months. If you're seeing negatives across the board and you haven't made changes to make those negatives into positive profits, you either need to do it now or figure out if it can be done. You can work with an accountant. You can work with someone at a local small business development center in your market. But one of the things you need to do is you actually need to make a decision. This is a leadership skill that every entrepreneur needs, and you absolutely must have that now. It's time to take a look at whether or not the business that you love and that you've nurtured is going to give you anything back in the future. And I want you to do that before you go after these loans that are out there. It's enticing to try to get this money from the federal government, I know. But are you getting money for a business that can pay the money back? Or are you just creating more debt and more financial problems for yourself? It's time to figure that out. I'm telling clients that I'm speaking with to do this very thing. If you've only made $25,000 and this is your full-time gig in the last 12, 18 months, and your bills are twice that amount, what are you doing? If it's not making money, it's just a hobby. And if it's just a hobby, why would you be paying thousands of dollars in overhead to keep it afloat? Be sure you take a look at all your financial statements, sit down with a professional, someone that already knows you and trusts that you trust to help you figure this out. If you have business partners, it's time to sit them down and have a frank and honest conversation about the viability of your business going forward. But most importantly, I don't want you to get enamored with the idea of getting this federal funding to save your business. Because if there are problems there that haven't been solved, there's no amount of money that can solve them. You have to look at whether or not you have a viable service or product that people want. Do this now because it is later than you think. And if you're struggling to pay your rent, and if you're struggling to pay for operating costs for your business while the pandemic is going on, this is a great time to evaluate whether or not there's another thing you could be doing that's more profitable. I urge you to do that as soon as possible. So take this to heart. My mother's saying of, it's later than you think. I want you to consider that for your own business. Figure out how to either turn it around and possibly use some of the money that's out there to do it, or turn it off, flip off the lights and walk away. Not an easy thing to hear, but it's time for you to think that through. I hope you receive this message with a positive energy. I hope you're staying safe and take care.